more anticipated games of the week. Of course, taking on the Vikings in Minnesota, picking it up in the third quarter. The Ravens leading 12-10. Miles Price returns the kick, but the ball gets punched out. The Ravens recover. Great field position for Baltimore.
Listen, this is huge. This starts the route of this game. This is the opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to score in the red zone.
Ensuing Ravens drive at the 1-yard line, and could they capitalize on this? Well, they do. Justice Hill punched it in for 6. The Ravens extend the lead 19-10.
Give it to the big fella.
Spike it. Early fourth quarter.
Is that a B&B?
Nah.
He's on the border. He's on the edges. Ravens leading 19-13. Lamar Jackson finding Mark Andrews in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
He caught the snap left-handed like it was nothing, and then changed the play mid-route.
But that was also 23 personnel.
Yeah. Great throw by JJ. 23 personnel.
JJ connecting with Jalen Naylor, who stays in bounds for the touchdown. The Vikings trail 27-19.
He got him.
Last chance. Oh, Hawkinson, Dan's saying he's got him, but he scrambles trying to find a receiver, and he throws incomplete. Ravens win 27-19 in this one. RC, how is this Ravens defense able to keep Minnesota in check? Because we had seen Minnesota look a little better of late with J.J. McCarthy.
Well, one thing that you're starting to see with KOC and J.J. McCarthy is early on, they seem in sync, right? You have the big play to Naylor down the sideline, which eventually leads to a score. But I still love what they're doing from their pressure packages. If you're looking at Zach Orr and a place that they've taken a step, an opportunity to put pressure on the quarterback. Also, Malachi Starks and Marlon Humphrey making plays down the field. Malachi Starks, 2 interceptions in the last 2 weeks, starting to be that ball hawk that they were anticipating in the middle of the field. And I felt like this was young Teddy Buchanan's best game as a Baltimore Raven. And we're starting to see Roquan Smith play at that all-pro level that we had seen in previous years. Ever since Alohi Gilman became a Baltimore Raven, I felt like this team has continued to ascend week after week, and this is 4 weeks of really excellent play.
Yeah, I once again thought Mike Green was really good, but more impressive to me was the run game defense that he had. I think the second thing, this defense had multiple batted balls, 4 or 5 batted balls, sometimes in really key situations that were huge. I wanted you to ask you this and touch on it a little bit, because we've been praising Kyle Hamilton, rightfully so. But the way that they're using Marlon and Malachi, and just like the challenge of sometimes they're a nickel, sometimes they're at the Mike run through, sometimes they're playing on the perimeter, sometimes they're playing outside of the cornerback position. That's a really big deal.
I love that you bring up the Mike run through. Think about the ball that Roquan Smith intercepted initially, and then they ruled that it was incomplete pass. Kyle Hamilton runs the middle of the field. Roquan Smith is the apex player, and he's just tracking J.J. McCarthy's eyes. There's been so much versatility in this defense in the last few weeks, and it all starts with Kyle Hamilton and his ability to play multiple positions along with Marlon Humphrey.
You guys, look how good this is. The Ravens defense so improved recently, allowing a league-worst 35.4 points per game for the first 5 weeks of the season. We're all lamenting that they're terrible. Baltimore has allowed 20 or fewer points per game since week 6. They've also done a great job forcing turnovers.
Just that versatility that RC and we're talking about, for us as quarterbacks, we struggle to get tells then, coverage-wise. We don't really know who's playing what, and then the ball gets snapped and everybody rotating. I think that's forcing quarterbacks to play kind of slow. Very much so in doubt with what's going on.
You know who wasn't playing slow yesterday is Lamar Jackson. So where was he at his best for this Ravens offense?
You said it, when he was playing fast. It's funny to watch the Ravens offense and still feel like that was kind of a B game from them.
I agree.
But it still feels like there's another level to be unlocked. They did some cool things in the run game I think you guys are talking about. But I thought Lamar, what I liked the most was just how fast he was playing, especially against Brian Flores' exotic blitzes, as Marcus hands me a tissue because my eyes are watering.
It's cold.
Sometimes against those pressures in the past, you've seen Lamar go big game hunting. Not the case here. I think about the chunk plays or the first downs they got when Flores sent pressure. The out to Likely, under two seconds, the ball is out. The hitch to Bateman near the goal line, under 2 seconds, the ball is out. The screen to Flowers. It was all just very fast, and it wasn't, very high depth to target. But that's not what was required in this game. He was very good at attacking the voids in coverage. Ball coming out quickly. It was a very mature, controlled performance.
Speaking of that, MK, before I get to what I want to say, also getting him on the perimeter. The touchdown to Mark Andrews on the rollout. Obviously, you had a run. I thought he was going to score. It's a hell of a play by Isaiah Ross for all that trash. But the run game, and Keaton Mitchell adds something to this run game that Baltimore is desperately going to need if they're going to try to close this thing out and make a playoff run. With his explosiveness mixed with Derrick Henry physicality, and also when you have Lamar Jackson back, it's always that slow play that you have to have because the quarterback may keep the football. So listen, number 8 obviously dictates a lot about what goes on with this offense. But in this run game with that 1-2 punch, and that was mostly Justice Hill last year was the big guy. But Keaton Mitchell's speed changes the dynamic of this offense, especially as they make this run. I want to see how much they get into the screen game.
But the thing about Keaton Mitchell is they run the same plays that they run with Derrick Henry. It's the same personnel. It's the same formations. It's not that changeup that you don't normally get with Justice Hill when you can tell what's coming.
I think this team's going to the playoffs. I think they are in.
How about the action of yesterday? And this one, a bit of a shocker. Josh Allen and the Bills taking on Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. First play of the second quarter. Tagovailoa throws a deep pass to Jaylen Waddle for the 38-yard touchdown. Look at the lefty.
Yeah, just a great route concept. Waddle double moved and just finished it.
Dolphins leading 16-0. I'm looking at the score. What is going on? And that is intercepted. Another turnover by the Bills.
I mean, you had a zero pressure here. Melifano was inside on that throw. Josh Allen can't make that mistake.
Okay, so 12 minutes and 43 seconds in the fourth quarter. Surely the Bills are going to mount a comeback, right? They're still trailing 16-0. And right here, Allen airing it out to Keon Coleman for the 35-yard touchdown.
There's times when I ask myself, why don't you do this more? Why don't we just let him get more 50-50 balls? But this, to me, is the turning point of the game. It's 3rd and 1. They get the quarterback sneak. And I don't know if Josh is trying to push it back or there's a punch out right there, but massive takeaway.
6 minutes, 43 seconds left in the game. Dolphins 2nd and 7 at their own 41. Devon Achane was unreal, running up the middle, breaks free for the 59-yard touchdown. Dolphins win 30-13. Here's Josh Allen on some of the struggles after this game.
They came ready to play. They wanted it obviously a little more than us. I got to be better. I'd be better in the protection game, in the pass game, in the run game, all of it. You know, it's anytime you turn it over 3 times, 2 in the red zone, and really you could count that last one, you know, driving, kind of going into the red zone. So that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, after a 4-0 start to the season, the Bills have now dropped 3 of their last 5 games. Through those first 4 weeks, Buffalo scored a touchdown on an NFL best 37% of their drives and turned the ball over on an NFL best 2% of drives. Both numbers much worse over their last 5 games. I mean, it feels like that's the big reason why this has gone a certain way. But let's dive a little deeper here. Mina, why was the Bills' offense so ineffective yesterday?
I think we saw something we've seen over the course of the entire season, which is when Buffalo can't run the ball and Miami sold out to stop the run. The drop-back passing game just isn't effective enough on its own, in large part because they don't have skill players who separate and get open. And that's not to completely exonerate Allen of the decision-making, because some of those were clearly on him. But I almost felt like it was born out of frustration. Same way, honestly, when I watched Patrick Mahomes at times last season and nobody was open downfield. Outside of, I would say, Dalton Kincaid, when other teams play man coverage, I do not think there's anyone on this Bills roster, and Palmer's been hurt, we have to acknowledge that, who can consistently get open, and defenses recognize that increasingly.
Yeah, but here's my problem. Why is this year so different than last year offensively? It's mainly the same group outside of no Matt Collins. Obviously,
watching Matt Collins, I was thinking they could use Matt Collins.
No doubt. But that's where I'm getting to the sticking point of struggling to figure out exactly why. Because they weren't a great separating team last year. They were great yards after the catch. No question, Josh plays frustrated. He's playing way too fast for me. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the answer? Right. What is going to be the next step? Because I would sit there and go, all right, let's get back to some 6 offensive linemen, maybe more play action. But then I would sit there and go, the play action stuff's not overly
Think about
creative.
The 4th and 1, right? They come out in 22 personnel.
Oh my goodness.
And it's a shot to Jackson Hawes downfield. That to me was like the problem in a nutshell. And I like Hawes. He's a good player, but
that's not his
that
role.
can't be your answer.
And I don't know. Even their play action stuff, the play actions are one of 2 things. Like they go out, tight end sits over the ball, or they go 3 levels. So there definitely needs to be a little bit of growth in that downfield passing game concept stuff that allow maybe lesser players to win versus coverage.
As you might imagine, you saw some frustration from Joe Brady even at times in the broadcast. Marcus, it wasn't just the offense, though. The defense gives up nearly 200 yards. What was going on that side of the ball?
Yeah, the explosive plays come to mind, obviously Waddle, but on the ground with Devon Achane. And everybody's going to focus on the explosive runs, but this was almost a 4 to 5 yard carry game for the Miami Dolphins. And when you listen, I don't care how much you're struggling, this game still reverts back to this. If we can have success on the ground offensively, we can have success on the day. And that's what you saw with Tua Tagovailoa. You cannot blitz and pressure him and take away his first read when you have to commit so many people to the box in order to
you.